Do you ever find it so hard to flow with the energy of life, even though you might know the astrological impacts right now, you know what season of your life you're in, you know where you're at with your menstrual cycle, but yet still shit gets you down? Hello, sisters, and welcome to this week's podcast episode where we're going to be exploring, I'm actually going to be just talking to you about how I have been dealing with this major conjunction that is happening in our night sky. Well, not just the night sky, but the astrological sky at the moment. And this conjunction is one between the North Node, which is our destiny line. It is that kind of, what is your true purpose and why the fuck are you here? And it hits exact on 18 degrees today with Uranus and with Mars. And also another mentor that I follow says that it's also hitting Kali, the asteroid. And if you don't know much about the dark goddess or Kali energy, Kali is the one that, she's the goddess that will come in and cut your head off. And that's not just to say she's the destructive goddess, because she's also often known as that through some of the readings and depictions of her. But what they don't understand is that she's cutting off your ego. She's cutting you out of that mundane autopilot of bullshit that does not align with you anymore because you've been conditioned into it. You're not living in your creative force. You're not living up to your true purpose. So she comes in and says, okay, what are you ready to get rid of? And I'll cut your head off to get you to that place, with such love and reverence that she does it. And so what we have is, as I said, the North Node, which is your destiny line. It is, what is your purpose? We have Uranus, which so many people with Mars and Uranus here, there's so many YouTube videos and everything out there at the moment talking about chaos and destruction and change and all of this really rah-rah bad energy. Oh my gosh, I have been hanging in this energy. This energy of this conjunction's been kind of building over the last few weeks, and it goes exact today. I don't know the exact time, but it's not relevant. It's like the turn of the seasons. Yes, there is an exact moment, but we're going to be in this Uranus North Node energy all of September. And this week of, the date is, let me just check. The date is the 1st of August here in Australia. So the 31st of July in the States and other places of the world. But here in Australia, it's the 1st of August. And this is when the conjunction goes exact, where Mars, Uranus, and the North Node all hit 18 degrees. And there is also a teaching around astrology that is called the Sabian symbols. And there was a lady that basically channeled this information around what the information is for each degree of something happening within a zodiac sign. And 18 degrees is a new continent rising up through the ocean. Oh my God. Okay, so what I'm feeling into for this major conjunction, triple or quadruple major conjunction, is that we have this once in a lifetime, and a lot of astrologers have actually said they can't actually figure out if this conjunction of these three planets has ever happened before. And, that's to say we have this beautiful portal of energy right now that's saying, okay, Uranus is the great awakener. It's that energy of saying, yes, it's change. Yes, it can sometimes be chaotic, but if you consciously come into awareness of what it is that you want to change or you need to change out of, or the desire that you have in your life to change, what is it that you consciously desire, and how can you make the changes and awaken into your own purpose so that you can actually step into who you were born to be? We have this portal of energy happening at the moment. We've just had the most beautiful, intense new moon in Leo, which is all this heart warrior. Who am I creatively and with all my courage? And then we've got the Lionsgate portal on the 8th of the 8th. Holy bejeebers. I currently am sitting in my dark moon of my cycle, which means I'm almost about to bleed. And having then come through all this new moon, and now sitting in this north node destiny, I have this push-pull within my own reality at the moment that there is so much going on, and it's so easy to stay in the mundane and stay in the conditioning and not integrate where I'm at, and not really it's actually really easy right now to get really down on myself. But I can sit in that, which I did yesterday, and I leant into it and I felt it and I cried and I released and I wrote, and I was still got up today and I'm tired, and I'm like, what is the point? What is the point to me? What is my existence calling for? And really, am I actually on my right path? Or do I need to sit and do the work and figure out if I'm being called in a new direction? And so I purposefully, knowing it was coming up to my period, knowing this conjunction was happening, I've given myself today and tomorrow off. And that's off my renovations, that's off seeing clients, that's off, I'm still a mum and I'm still doing the days and I'm still doing that. But I have snippets here of these 2 days where I'm going to be able to drop deeply into all of these questions. Who do I truly desire to be? And using the Mars energy of this conjunction, what are the actions I can take to actually achieve this purpose, to actually step into my destiny? And to be able to do that, we also have to ask ourselves, what's holding me back? What's holding me back from living my destiny, from being that woman right now? And honestly, these are the questions I invite you to ask yourself over the next couple of days, the next week, whenever you're listening to this podcast, even if it's any time in August, and regardless of whether you're listening to this podcast in this time of this major conjunction or not, this is almost the question I like to ask myself on every dark moon. Who am I and what is my purpose? What am I here to do, and what do I truly desire for my life? What is it that's standing in the way of me getting that? And this being the dark moon for me, coming into the dark moon for everyone, which is just before new moon, that was a week ago, and I sat with these questions and I wrote them all down of all the things that were stopping me from stepping into my power, and I burnt them. Because I love burning shit, and, you'll get used to that once you listen to enough podcasts. But if you're not into fire like I am, you can write it on toilet paper and you can flush it. You can speak these releasing words to the wind and let the air carry it. Or you can write them down on a piece of paper and bury it in the ground. And when we do this, we're asking the universe for support around what it is that we need to actually create this new vision. It's not really a new vision, it's a remembering. It's a remembering of what did I sign up for when I wanted to come into this life from, the heaven or from the star galaxy that you're from, or whatever you believe in. When you incarnated into this life, I believe we signed a contract that said, this is what I am here to learn, and this is, the challenges I'm signing up for to help me learn the lessons I need to learn so that I can truly embody what it is that will allow me to fulfill my human destiny. Like a seed knows that it is going to become the plant that it is encoded to become, you have an encoded destiny within you. And this North Node conjunction helps unveil all of the conditioning and all of the masks and all of the exhaustion and all of the excuses and all of the suppression and everything else that goes with day-to-day life, and helps you to see, to feel, to know, to hear, to taste and smell exactly what it would be like for you to step into your destiny and for you to understand who you truly are. Because, as I said, the last few days especially, but the last month, I've been really challenged with a lot of things. Not just around business, but in life. I'm renovating my house. I'm living with my mother and my stepfather with my 8-year-old daughter. And, so grateful to have this beautiful space to, have a roof over our head and to share the duties of cooking and cleaning and all of that sort of beautiful stuff. And to have, Paige have time with her grandparents and watch that unfolding and watch the conditioning that I see coming up in my parents that I consciously am trying to truly work with and move away from. And in doing so, consciously speaking to Paige, even at 8 years old, around what I'm noticing, what I'm seeing in myself, and also helping her to see from a really, really young age how she doesn't have to repeat those patterns, because we don't have to become our parents when we parent our children. We don't have to, stay in this box of what it means to be successful, which is what our parents have taught us. What does wealth and success mean to you? What does it mean to be worthy? Not what other people have told you, but when you are doing what you love and you are embodying who it is that makes you you, when you can have a direct and clear link with your inner soul whispers, with a direct clear link to your guides and your ancestors, to be able to have the courage to truly step into the mystery of not knowing exactly how and when, and all of the other questions we have around doubt of, should we step out of this job when you have this calling to do something else that's just so freaking loud that you can't ignore it anymore? But it's scary. You see, there's an emotional vibration scale. On this emotional vibration scale, and the lower end of the scale, we've got the lowest end of the scale, you've got like guilt, shame, rage, those sort of angers, those sort of emotions. And when we move up the vibrational scale, and you can sort of feel into this yourself now, being an embodiment coach, I want you to feel it in your body. I don't want you to just think about this. And I really want you to get that. These podcasts that I'm giving you, it's not about, just listening and taking more information in. These podcasts I'm putting together for you, I'm hoping my mission with these, my vision, is to allow you to feel what it would be like to truly awaken the divine feminine within you. And this major conjunction is awakening the divine feminine within you. If you consciously make the time to do the work to actually ask yourself those questions. And that simply can come through journaling on the 3 questions I've asked you. Who am I and what is my destiny? My true destiny. Who do I want to be? What do I want life to feel like? What do I desire? Yeah, that's a very long question, but, break it down, make that your own, and then ask yourself, what is standing in my way of actually getting, living that life, being that person, embodying my desires? And what are the actions I can take? Because Mars is there, remember? Mars is action. And Mars can be volatile and angry and, that's for lack of a better word. Don't worry, one day in my podcast I'm going to explain through interpretive dance, and I'm just going to have to put that one on YouTube. But you can Mars sometimes is like that. It can be that warrior energy. And when we have the warrior energy, we have a conscious choice here in this conjunction portal of whether we allow Uranus and Mars to come in and completely railroad your life and change things because your old conditioning wasn't working, or you make changes in areas of your life that actually didn't need changing, but yet you weren't consciously aware of going through these questions and asking yourself, what is it that needs to change? It may not be your relationship. It might be your conditioning to certain patterns that have been brought up in your family that have created resistance and arguments and tension, but yet by you working on yourself, your relationship could blossom. But what often happens is that in these portals of energy and when massive change comes, we tend to let go of those things that we blame outside of ourselves for our problems. And then a little bit down the track, you go, oh shit, actually, I don't know if that was right for me. And then the grief sets in, and then you've probably potentially lost that partner or that job or whatever it might have been. But when we stop and listen to our own inner vision, and I do apologize today if the sound is a little different. I'm sitting here staring at the ocean. There's a rainbow in front of me and the whales are out there somewhere, and it's raining on my car, and it is so beautiful. This is my day off and this is my office, and I've currently done the most beautiful and very tricky it's very tricky to do a tarot reading for myself in the car, but I've managed it. And out of a 10 card spread, I have 8 major arcanas that came up and a couple of other little cards that aren't very little at all. And this spread for me, like, this is another thing that you could do in this portal or at every new moon or every time you bleed. And my question coming into this tarot reading was, and the question coming into this portal was, what is it that I need to know to enter the next season of my life? What is it that I need to know to enter the next season of my life? And the major issue card here was courage. And courage is that bridge, like as I was talking about that emotional vibration, the lower energies, you can feel it. So let's get back to that. Like, you can know when you walk into a room and someone's grumpy, the energy is heavy and dense. And, you feel sad, and it's kind of like you just want to crawl up in a ball and just, get lower to the ground. That kind of dark, heavy energy. Think of guilt. Guilt serves no one, by the way. Like, you feeling guilty about anything in your life serves no one. Shame is so rife in our society because we've lost a sense of belonging. We have lost our understanding of what it means to be truly seen and acknowledged, and so we often don't act out of the essence of our true selves. And so shame creeps in all the time, especially as mothers. And then there's that dark energy. So you feel it, right? You feel that, and you can understand what I mean by the lower vibrational scales. As you move up the vibrational scale, at the top, I don't put in enlightenment there because seriously, in today's day and age, even when you go and sit in a cave for 20 years, like, good luck to you, but that doesn't always bring about enlightenment. And it's just, I want to put it into reality. The top of the emotional scale is presence, it's joy, it is bliss, it is that state of being, that it's the flow state. It's that magical state of being where you're not like totally off your rails of being joyful and happy and, crazy ecstatic, but it's like this bliss state of being totally in flow. But the bridge between the lower states and the upper states, and like the bridge between the lower chakras and the upper chakras, is your heart chakra. The bridge between the lower energy states and the higher energy states or vibrational states, the bridge there is courage. And so when we're asking ourselves these questions, what do I desire? What do I need? Or what do I need to know to step into the next season of my life? We all are a seed and we all have a destiny. This North Node is pulling us towards that destiny now, but we have to have the courage to be able to somewhat step into the unknown, to be able to grow into that part of ourselves. And through courage, it's like, imagine a beautiful little wildflower and its seed has been shoved between two rocks and it's been lying dormant until the perfect conditions were right. But yet that seed doesn't know the exact, in consciousness, it doesn't know that exact flower it's going to be. It doesn't know whether it will survive. But it has to have the courage to break out of its shell, because that seed could stay in its seed-like state for millennia and survive. However, if it has the courage to break out of its seed and send out that shoot, take some, dark moon moments of root growth and sending those roots down to then be in this in-bulk start of spring, Lion's Gate, this triple conjunction and everything else that's happening right now, to be in that energy. And it says, yes, I will step into the places of the unknown. I'll step into knowing that no matter what happens, if I stay in this shell, I am safe. Nothing can happen to me, but I will never flourish and I'll never bloom. And I know that if I break free of this shell, the conditioning, the mundane, all that stuff, that my roots, my shoots, my flower-like, plant-like self is going to come across lots of challenges, obstructions, difficulties, and it may not survive, but yet it's willing to give that a go. So, the personality of life, our own personality, who we have told ourselves that we are and who other people have told us we are, this personality is something that has been imposed upon you from the outside and creates your kind of, sense, can create your sense of self. But your individuality is that destiny of who you are below your personality that grows from within. You are, like a rose seed is destined to be a rose, an acorn is destined to be an oak tree. You have a destiny within you. Will you allow yourself to feel into this beautiful Uranus awakening energy and ask yourself, what do I desire and what needs to change in my life for me to grow? Will you break free of your seed? The answer can only come from you. And then bringing that Mars energy in and saying, okay, so the Mars is action and I can be a warrior and I can be argumentative and irritable and frustrated, or I can bring that energy up into my heart and say, how can I be a spiritual warrior? How can I bring inspired action into my life to make things happen so that I can actually grow into the beautiful goddamn flower you were born to be? So, sister, are you going to stay in your shell? Are you going to stay a seed, waiting to bloom, hoping that someone else will create the right environments for you to do so, or blaming other things outside of yourself for not getting there? Or will you take this moment in time and say, right, what the fuck is my purpose and what makes me my unique individual self? What is my freak flag? This is what my beautiful mentor, my astrology teacher, who I've been working with for almost 3 years, Lynn Smith, if you are ever wanting an astrology reading, check out Lynn Smith Astrology in Brisbane, Australia. She's amazing. I'm pretty biased, but she's pretty damn great. She, in all my chart and everything else, it's like, Christy, you are here to really own and step into your unique freak flag. You're here to fly your own freak flag. And as you do that, you will be able to hold the space for women all over the world to be empowered, to not live in the status quo, the mundane, the conditioning that they've been raised and brought up in, but yet be the change makers, be the way showers, be these beautiful, gorgeous women who say, enough is enough. I know there is more to my life than what I am living. And I don't exactly know what that more is, and it doesn't matter. All I know is there's more, and to be able to feel into my more, I will do the work. And the work, sister, is not just listening to this podcast. It's not just taking in more information from here, there, everywhere, and everywhere else. It is making time for yourself to journal, to go for a walk, to be connected to nature, to meditate. And meditate does not mean you have to sit still with your back straight and your eyes closed. You can dance, you can walk, you can do the goddamn dishes meditating. It's being 100% present, focused on one thing. Take that in for a moment. Your life can be Zen and the art of flying your freak flag. Zen and the art of whoever you want to be. But only you can tell yourself who you are. And this beautiful, magical time in your life is a time where you can truly ask yourself the deeper questions. And it is also a portal of time that will help you shed the old conditioning and let go of what is not serving you, so that you can integrate everything you've learnt in your life so far, not with that happened so I'm miserable and shitty and, wounded. It's like that terrible, crappy, unspeakable thing that happened to me when I was a kid or when I was an adult or whenever it might have happened. That taught me a gift, that gave me something. That gave me a gift within me that allowed me to know my strength, that allowed me to know my courage, that allowed me to, whatever the gift was that every single good, bad and unspeakable thing in your life has taught you, to be able to take stock now and say, right, this is who I am, unapologetically, and then fly your freak flag with me, sister. Step into that destiny. Join me actually in Awaken, the beautiful 8-week program where we sit together in sacred circle. And that is starting in the next month. We're launching our website very, very soon. And with the launch of the website, we will be launching this new intake of the program. And this program is one of my most favorite things to do in my entire life. Yeah, I wrote it, but this program is the one that I take myself through even when I'm not taking others through. This is the program I live by. We move through the 8 chakras. We have like a setup week, and then we move through the 7 chakras, the 7 major chakras. And we move from the base chakra all the way to the crown, from moving through survival all the way through all of our chakras to manifesting our destiny. And one of the most beautiful things, one of my past clients, well, she's actually still a client, but she's not in Awaken anymore, she's in Ascension, which is her one-on-one coaching with me. She said, and she is a counsellor, a psychotherapist, and already had so much information. She said, I've never known myself so well. I honestly have started being able to truly speak my truth, especially to my mother, so that I can raise my kids in a way that allows me to know that we are on path, that we, as a family, all have our own quirks and we all have our own things, but yet because they see me now living my truth, I see a massive difference in all of us. So if this is something you want to explore, reach out to me at eveningstar@awakendivinefeminine.com and just let me know you're interested in finding out more details. And yeah, keep an eye out for our website launch because it's happening very soon. I know I've been saying that for the past 2 months, but it's a birthing process, and it's been a labor of love and some really, really freaking challenging times in the middle. But it is coming to that point where I'm crowning. And I'm pushing this baby out, and she's going to be magnificent. And it is so deeply powerful and so on path with who I am destined to be able to share my gifts, to bring women together in sacred circle, to, keep sharing this podcast and, being able to, I am not the arty-farty that brings really beautiful pictures to you on Instagram. But when I speak, my gifts come through what I have to say because they're coming through for you. They're coming through so that you can actually take what I have learned through my life, through what I am channeling through spirit, so that you can integrate that into where you're at and awaken the divine feminine in your life, in your way, in your body, in who you are. And in doing so, we don't miss all of the beauty and the magic and the lessons and it's being able to ride this roller coaster called life. And as we ride this roller coaster of life, instead of riding it and thinking, fuck, I want to get off, this is ridiculous, and I'm up 1 minute and down the next, and I just don't know whether I'm up or down, being able to ride this roller coaster and go, you know what, this is life and it's amazing. And the down times are times where you embrace them instead of like pushing them away or going, I can't go there. Because we live in a society that doesn't like being down. We live in a society that says, you know, when you're having down days, it's not okay. It's part of life. You see, in life, there is one cycle, just with lots of different lengths of that cycle, from the circadian 24-hour clock to the infradian monthly rhythm of our menstrual cycle and the lunar cycle, to the seasonal rhythm of the earth cycle, to what else goes on there? Oh, so many things. Everything goes through the seasons and cycles. Your life goes through the seasons and cycles. I am in so many different seasons of my life, but that's when people say, you know, but what if I don't menstruate at new moon? It's like, well, then you get 2 opportunities to go through new moon prayers every single month, remembering that on the new moon, that is what grows for you in that next chapter. However, the new moon was 3 or 4 days ago, and this is, you know, coming to you on the 1st of August, 2022. The new moon was 3 or 4 days ago. So I did my new moon ritual. I set my intention for this month. And in doing so, I now, in my life cycle, my lunar menstrual cycle, I'm coming up to another new moon cycle. So I'm setting an intention for this cycle, more of an embodied, you know, this is my body's expression of this cycle. And as I'm 44 years old, I'm actually, you know, going through a huge cycle of my life where I'm in Uranus opposition, and that's just a whole nother, you know, anyone that's around the ages of 40 to 44, 45 at the moment, this portal of energy for you will be even more intense than for other people, because you're actually in a Uranus opposition. For those that are around like 80 to 88, whoa, these people, if they haven't woken up yet, they're going to wake up. And you know, it's this North Node Uranus-Mars conjunction is very much a collective energy happening as well. Because in the collective, it's happening in Taurus. And so the Taurus energy is all about agriculture, and it's about belief systems and values and, you know, even finances. And it's going to give everything a really big shake-up. And if I don't know whether you've noticed, but there's not a lot of vegetables and things like that in our supermarket at the moment. And I think his name's Zach, I want to say Brown, but it's not Zach Brown. Zach's someone who's been talking about all the amazing research into how we grow our food and how it needs to shift and how we need to stop putting chemicals in the earth and all of that sort of stuff. Imagine if this is the ripple effect of this portal of energy, that we all come back to growing our own veggie gardens, that we have our own herb gardens, that we share the veggies around the community. Imagine if we started to get rid of the likes of Montecito, you know, genetically modifying our seeds and poisoning our lands and poisoning our bodies with what we put in it. And imagine if we all kind of went, oh, hang on a minute, I refuse to buy all of that. And so much of that's not available at the moment anyway, for whatever reasons. You know, there's so many floods and all that sort of stuff happening here in Australia that's limiting our supply. But it's not just happening in Australia, it's happening globally. So it's not like today where this conjunction hits its peak that everything's going to the shit's going to hit the fan, but something's going to happen, and this ripple effect of that, you know, that Sabian symbol that I was talking about, that new continent rising up out of the ocean. Imagine if this 18 degrees Uranus Mars and North Node for the destiny of our Mother Earth was to start respecting her again, was to start giving back to her instead of raping and pillaging her. To know that instead of denying the aging process, denying the death and decay, stop, making these fields fertile all the time by putting all these chemicals in and, expecting even Mother Earth to be in her spring and summertime all the bloody time. As a society, as a culture, we need to start looking at what this dark moon, this decay, this composting, this, aging process allows us to do. It's just a part of life, and it's something to be embraced. There was a hell of a lot of information in today's episode, my friend, and I invite you to take those questions that they're down in the show notes, but also just as a reminder, what is my destiny? What do I desire? What do I truly desire? Remember, Carly's here to cut off your ego. It's not from conditioning or ego or from being, seen or all that sort of stuff, but truly in your body, who do you want to be? What are you here to do? What is my destiny? Then ask yourself, what's standing in the way of you getting this destiny? This could be habits. It could be, what are you suppressing? What are your, healthy and unhealthy habits? Is it relationships or your job or, what is standing in your way of you stepping into your potential? And what inspired action can you actually take to help you reach your potential? And in the realms of coaching, there's like that whole be, do, have model. And I don't know exactly where this originated. I first heard it through, oh my gosh, I can't even remember his name right now. I will try and link his name to the in the show notes. But the be, do, have model, like if you think of society, Western society, we're raised to say you have to do this, and you have to have this before you can be successful. You have to work hard today so you can live for tomorrow. When we've started looking into neuroscience and how the body works and also, mindset coaching and all of that sort of thing, if you don't start living and being that person now, it can never manifest. So I'm going to leave you with this. Who do you want to be? How do you want life to feel? Cut off the ego and get into the body and truly ask yourself, what is it that I want to feel like on a daily basis? Who do I want to be? And start being that in any way you can now. Show up as that person in every aspect of your life. And as you do that, the things that you want and the things that, that you want to do and the things you want to have start falling into your life. They start coming in. A beautiful, beautiful and so ridiculously amazing friend of mine this morning said to me, the more that I let go, the more comes in. And I'm going to leave you with that. I love you, sisters, and I will see you next time. Bye.